Hello everyone, I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel again. This is your favorite coffee instructor, professionally trained coffee instructor. And for those of you who are joining us as new subscribers, I'd like to welcome you also. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you can be able to follow up with my content each and every time I post. First things first, I'd like to thank you for my last video. For those of you who subscribed, I really appreciate the support. Keep on recommending, keep on sending all those referrals so that I can be able to give you more content. This is going to be my first lesson, and what I'm going to be covering specifically is origin of coffee, and I will finalize by mentioning about barista. So I'm going to be giving you details about the origin of coffee and a little bit about a barista. Okay, so feel free to tune in, and let's start the lesson. Welcome back, and let's kickstart the class of today. So the first thing that we are going to be covering is the birthplace of coffee, and information about the birthplace of coffee is coffee was first discovered in Ethiopia. Most people believe that coffee was actually discovered in Brazil, but that is not the case. What is special about Brazil is the leading producer of coffee in the world. They produce so much coffee such that the second leading producer of coffee in the world doesn't even produce half of what Brazil is producing. The birthplace of coffee is Ethiopia. It was firstly discovered in Ethiopia by a herder by the name Kaldi. So there's a fun story about the herder by the name Kaldi who discovered this, but make sure you watch this video up to the end so that I can be able to tell you the fun fact in relation to the person who discovered the coffee. The second thing that I'm going to be talking about is the journey of coffee. So in terms of journey, there's a lot of story or history behind the journey of coffee. But just in a nutshell, just understand that coffee came from Ethiopia. It went to Yemen. From Yemen, it found its way to Dutch. Then the Dutch guys who got a hold of the coffee, they decided to share it around the world. And during the 19th century, if I'm not wrong, the 18th century, that is when coffee found its place in other European countries and states. Feel free to follow more of my videos so that I can be able to give you like a detailed information about the journey of coffee. The third topic that we're going to be talking about is modernization of coffee. So in terms of modernization of coffee, what I'd like to mention to you is coffee currently is being grown in different parts of the world. And aside from that, we have like over 70 countries that are known for growing coffee. For these specific countries that grow coffee, they have different kinds of cultures to it. They have different beliefs to it, and they also have like different practices to it. Like an example, if you look at coffee, or rather, if you look at people who enjoy coffee in places like Italy and Spain, these people are accustomed to a specific kind of tasting of coffee. They are accustomed to a specific way of making coffee, and also they are accustomed to different tasting preferences and practices. Okay, so you normally take a specific kind of locality, and in this specific kind of locality, you get to study their culture, you get to study how they normally make the coffee, and also you get to study exactly how they prefer to enjoy their coffees. Before modernization, specifically the people who discovered, the Ethiopians who discovered coffee, they had like a specific culture to it. Yeah. there are so many videos around that normally show how exactly these people enjoy their coffee, but just to create like a picture for you, the Ethiopians have like this kind of culture whereby as they are making coffee, some of the things that they consider is they must have coffee as a group. Okay, so if somebody in their household, in a coffee shop, or in a specific place they are making coffee, they will always want to enjoy it with people. Yeah, this culture breeds like some sense of community. Generally, it creates that sense of maintaining the culture, or the maintaining the coffee cultural heritage. To understand modernization, you have first to go back to the olden days and check how they used to make their coffee, straight from like how they harvested the coffee, how they roasted the coffee, how they brewed the coffee, and lastly how they enjoyed coffee. This is going to create for you like a picture of exactly how to understand this particular topic. Just a recap about the origin of coffee. There is a lot of information to be learned in relation to coffee. Yeah, generally coffee has a lot of information with it. It also has a lot of books. So many people have written a lot of books in relation to coffee, and you can always get a lot of the deeper information about coffee in general. Okay, but in this particular case, I will just mention four titles in the origin of coffee. And just a recap of what we've actually covered. We've covered the birthplace of coffee. We've also covered the journey of coffee. And then the third topic that I covered was the modernization of coffee. So lastly, I'm going to be covering the fun facts about coffee. Yeah. So there's a myth. People believe it's a myth. Some people believe it's a myth. Some people believe that there's some actual truth into it. But this is the story that goes. Okay. As a fun fact, the Ethiopians believe that the person who discovered coffee was a guy by the name Kaldi. So he discovered that there was a specific cherry that these goats were actually eating. Okay, so the cherries, a coffee cherry, just to create like a picture for you, a coffee cherry when it's ripe, it's always in the red color. Okay, so I believe that the red color was actually attracting the goats, and they were actually feeding on these cherries. So he decided to try for himself, and what he discovered is, after some time, he became very hyper. Yeah, he became very energized. He became very happy, and he found himself also as happy as the gods. Okay, fast forward, they discovered coffee as this, and they tried different ways of like enjoying it until they lastly discovered that the best way for you to enjoy coffee is by taking the green beans itself. You have to roast it. After you roast it, you have to grind it, or in simple terms, you have to crush it. After you crush it, you have to expose it, or let it to interact with a specific temperatured water. And as it interacts, it's able to give you like the good flavors and the good aromas that you get in that cup of coffee that we normally enjoy. I can't confirm that this story is actually true, but this is a myth that has been going for quite some time, and some people believe that it's actually true. This is how coffee was discovered. Probably if you're an Ethiopian, you can just leave a comment on the section and just tell us if this is actually true. The second topic that we are going to be covering in this class today is about barista. Yeah, simply just the word barista. Okay, the first thing that I'm going to be discussing is the definition of a barista. The second thing I'm going to be discussing is what makes a barista special. Another thing that I'm going to be mentioning is the qualifications and the certifications for you to expect after you complete probably a course as a barista, or studies of be intending to becoming a barista. The fourth thing that I'm going to be mentioning about is the career path of a barista. And then second last, I'm going to be mentioning culture and community in relation to a barista. And then lastly, I'm going to be finishing with fun facts about being a barista. So the first title is definition of a barista. So this is a coffee brewing expert who specializes in making special kinds of drinks or beverages using special machines and special devices. So the thing for you to note in this particular definition is the part of the coffee brewing expert. Okay, so the word brewing in simple terms is just making. It's like a style. Yeah, so like how do you specifically make that kind of coffee, whether you're at home, whether you're in the coffee shop, or whether you're in a place that has access to these devices and machines. The brewing part of it is simply means the style of how you're going to be making the coffee. Okay, so another thing that you need to note in that specific definition is special kinds of drinks. Okay, the most complicated part about learning to be a barista is a specific part of making good looking kinds of drinks and the process that involves you making those kinds of drinks. We have to mention special drinks because it's not as easy as it looks. Probably most of you have been watching a lot of videos in YouTube and you've noticed that this actually looks easy, but in real sense, if you're given like the final products, it becomes quite challenging for you to be able to make these kinds of drinks. Okay, so the second thing that you need to notice is the special drinks require some special attention so that you can be able to achieve these nice looking drinks. And then lastly, what you need to capture from this definition is the special kinds of machines. We can have from high-end sophisticated kind of machines, and you can be exposed to like simple entry market kind of machines. Understand that whether the machine is sophisticated, it's very complicated, or it's just a simple machine with simple kinds of buttons, just understand that these machines, they do the same function, but in terms of performance, there's just going to be like some slight differences with them. But you must be trained so that you can be able to operate these specific machines. But in a nutshell, a barista is just a coffee brewing expert who specializes in making special beverages or drinks, and he is trained to use special kinds of machines and devices so that he can be able to achieve the day-to-day activities of a barista. So the second topic that we are going to be looking at in terms of the general title of a barista is the what makes a barista special. So what makes a barista special is they will get to have that interpersonal communication with the customer, and this in turn is going to lead to good feedback from the customer. This is also going to lead to good sales from the same customer, and this is also going to lead to repeat business. Okay, so this is very important. A barista must have good communication skills, timely work skills. Yeah, he needs to be quick on his feet. He needs to manage his workstation, and he just needs to acquire the good kind of skills that are going to make him a good barista. In terms of qualifications and certifications, at the end of the course, a barista is going to be guaranteed some sort of certification, yeah, to prove that they've actually undergone the training and they have the basic skills, professional skills, and probably advanced skills that certify them to become professional baristas. We have different levels that a barista is going to be passing through, but the most basic level that a barista normally is exposed to is they normally start as junior baristas. Okay, you will hear this term if you're coming into the industry and you're a newbie, you will always be hearing these kinds of terms. The first term that you're going to be hearing is junior barista. This is whereby this is like a barista who hasn't been exposed to a lot of experience as a barista, so they will just be joining the coffee shop or the place that has these types of coffee machines and the coffee setup. He'll be joining them, and he will be required also to do some sort of training so that he can be uh, according to the standards of the coffee shop or the place that has hired them. So you normally start as a junior barista. From a junior barista, you can progress on to become a senior barista. And then after a senior barista, you can progress on to become a head barista. I have not explained the definition of a senior barista because senior barista and a head barista, they are more so like the same. They do like the same activities with just slight differences. Okay, so what a head barista does is he will manage the day-to-day activities of the coffee shop. Aside from that, he will do other activities of like tending to customer complaints and customer feedback. He is also going to be in charge of the team that he's going to be managing. He's also going to be in charge of the training of the new baristas and polishing up of some things in the coffee shop, and just in general, a head barista is going to be taking up most of the leadership roles in the coffee shop. Yeah. So looking at senior barista, a senior barista will be like helping the head barista in the day-to-day activities of the coffee shop. But you normally start as a junior barista, then you proceed on to a senior barista, and then you head on to a head barista. From a head barista, you can progress on to become a roaster who is in charge of like roasting the coffee beans. Okay, we have a lot of information in regards to the roasting topic, but I will be able to cover it in the later classes. But as from a head barista, you move on to becoming a roaster. From a roaster, you can progress on to become a coffee shop owner, okay, where you'll be like managing everything in your specific coffee shop. From moving on to becoming a coffee shop owner, you can progress on to becoming a barista trainer. Okay, after becoming a barista trainer, you can spread your wings and become, we have some different careers that are normally out there, and one of them includes quality control grader. Yeah, depending on wherever you are, people refer to it in different kinds of way. We have a specific group of people who their intention is to taste coffees and grade them, so they are called quality control graders. Okay, so you can also have a career path in this particular case. You can progress on to become like a coffee expert in general, where you'll be invited to like coffee events. You will find yourself probably as a coffee instructor in between or rather among other trainers. So you can be like a trainer who trains the trainer. Okay, and then also you can be lucky enough to be exposed to championships. Yeah, in the fun facts part of this particular course, I'm going to be mentioning something about barista championships, and in these championships you will notice that some people become judges. So after some time of like having a lot of experience and becoming like a professional pro kind of barista, you can be exposed to such kinds of jobs. Something to note in the career path, it doesn't necessarily mean that you must start as a junior barista and then progress on to having those kinds of big league jobs. Okay, some people are lucky enough to start as trainers, some people are lucky enough to start as roasters, and then again they get the experience as they move on down. Okay, so in whichever point that you're going to start in, just be competent, just be confident enough to know that it's a process, and of course as you go along you can be able to like learn everything that there is to be learned. Last topic that we are going to be covering is about fun facts. Yeah, I will always try as much as possible to give you some sort of fun facts in every end of the lesson. And one fun fact about the barista career is we have two kinds of barista. Okay, we normally have the barista that I'm talking about right now, whose profession is coffee making. And then also we have another barista, but it is referred to as barista. A barista, this is somebody whose profession is in the law. I'm not sure like the level, but there is some sort of level where you reach in the law profession and you are referred to as a barista. That is all for today. Thank you so much for joining in. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, and of course I'll be able to be sharing with you information about coffee related.